Imagine working 60 hours a week, barely seeing your family, sacrificing your health, all because you believed it would lead to something better. Now imagine finding out it was all a lie. That's exactly what millions of people are discovering right now. Only 1 in 4 Americans still believes that working hard will get you ahead. Think about that for a second. We went from a nation built on the idea that anyone could make it with enough grit to 3/4 of us basically saying the game is rigged. This isn't just some minor attitude adjustment. It's a complete breakdown of everything we thought we knew about success. Here's where it gets really wild. In 2014, about half of Americans thought success came from working hard. Fast forward to today, and that number has completely flipped. Now 65% say success is mostly about the advantages you're born into. Even traditionally work-focused Republicans are starting to question whether all that hustle actually pays off. But the real story is what's happening with young people. Gen Z, those born between 1997 and 2012, they're not just questioning the system, they're completely rewriting the rules. Only 28% of Gen Z in places like the UK believe success comes from hard work. Compare that to nearly half of baby boomers who still hold on to that belief. This isn't just a generational preference thing. This is a fundamental rejection of how we've always done things. And they're backing it up with action. Recent data shows 73% of Gen Z workers are actively looking for new jobs. That's not normal job hopping. That's a mass exodus. The main reason? They're burned out, with 68% saying they feel completely fried. But here's the kicker. They're not looking for jobs that pay more. They're looking for jobs that respect their time. Remember when having a good job meant climbing the corporate ladder, putting in FaceTime at the office, maybe pulling some all-nighters to impress the boss? Yeah, Gen Z looked at that playbook and threw it straight in the trash. A shocking 25% of them would quit their job over a single after-hours demand from their boss. One email after 5 p.m. and they're updating their LinkedIn. This shift is backed by cold, hard numbers. For the first time in 22 years of tracking, work-life balance has overtaken salary as the top priority for workers globally. Let that sink in. People would rather make less money than sacrifice their personal time. In fact, 55% of millennials worldwide are willing to give up 20% of their paycheck for better balance. In the US, that number jumps to 60%. The data gets even more extreme. 2/3 of Americans say they'd rather have a job they love with lower pay than a high-paying job they hate. And 72% are now defining success based on happiness and fulfillment rather than wealth and status. This isn't laziness, it's a complete redefinition of what winning looks like. But why is this happening now? Well, turns out there's actual research showing that hard work mostly benefits people who already have advantages. A University of Wisconsin study found that while persistence does lead to better outcomes, those benefits are way more available to people who started with privilege. So when young people say the system is rigged, they're not being dramatic, they're being accurate. The human cost of hustle culture is becoming impossible to ignore. Nearly half of Gen Z and millennial workers report feeling burned out from workplace pressure. Among people working side hustles, and that's 67% of them reporting burnout, the numbers are even worse. A third say it's wrecked their mental health, and 41% can't sleep properly because of it. Even in countries like China, where the culture of hard work runs deep, people are questioning whether effort equals success. Teachers there openly admit that while they tell students hard work matters, they know connections and family background often matter more for getting ahead. What's fascinating is how different countries stack up. New Zealand consistently ranks as having the best work-life balance globally, followed by places like Ireland, Belgium, and Nordic countries. The US? It ranks 29th out of 41 countries studied. Americans work some of the longest hours in the developed world with the least amount of guaranteed time off. The workplace response to all this has been, well, let's call it interesting. Some companies are adapting, offering unlimited PTO, mental health support, 4-day work weeks. Others are doubling down, demanding workers return to offices, tracking productivity by the minute. Those companies ignoring the shift are seeing massive turnover. Turns out when 3/4 of your workforce doesn't believe in your fundamental premise, you've got a problem. Here's what nobody's really talking about, though. This isn't just about Gen Z being different. This is about an entire economic system built on a promise that's been broken. When productivity has gone up 62% since 1979, but wages have only increased 17%, when housing costs have exploded while salaries stagnated, when you need two incomes to afford what one used to buy, people notice. The old contract was simple. Work hard, play by the rules, and you'll have a house, a car, maybe send your kids to college. That contract is dead, and everyone knows it. So why keep pretending? Why sacrifice everything for a promise that no longer exists? What we're witnessing isn't a lazy generation or entitled workers. It's the logical response to a system that stopped delivering on its promises. When the data shows only about 1/4 of switching jobs happens because people found better work-life balance elsewhere, when 48% would quit if a job prevented them from enjoying life, when mental health becomes more important than salary for an entire generation, that's not a phase. That's a revolution. The question isn't whether the shift is real or permanent. The data is clear. It's both. The question is what happens next. Will companies adapt to this new reality, or will they keep fighting a losing battle? Will we see a complete restructuring of how work fits into life, or will the tension between old expectations and new realities tear the whole thing apart? One thing's certain. The idea that anyone can make it in America just by working hard isn't just being questioned. For most people, it's already dead. And maybe, just maybe, what rises from those ashes will be better than what we had before. A world where success isn't measured by hours logged or emails sent at midnight, but whether you actually get to live your life. What do you think? Is hard work still the path to success? Or is it time we completely rethink what success even means? Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.